Military has warned it will use unprecedented force in Gaza City and has urged residents to flee south. The temporary evacuation route on Salah al-Din Road has now been closed, with al-Rashid Street now the only southbound option open. The IDF spokesperson, Evacuation Aradi, said hundreds of thousands have now moved to what Israel calls humanitarian areas. Israel says Gaza City remains a Hamas stronghold. UN officials, however, say mass displacement is continuing, with nearly 450,000 civilians having fled the area. Meanwhile, heavy smoke and blasts have been reported south of Gaza City as Israel launches a major ground offensive. The border area is now the focus of intense military action, with residents urged to evacuate to safer locations. Okay, we're now joined by Ahmed Fatwa. He's the spokesperson for the Fatah movement, and he joins us live from Ramallah in the West Bank. Thank you very much for joining us, Ahmed, on the programme. Of course, this offensive into Gaza City has been occurring for the past few days, Ahmed. 450,000 we now hear have left the city. However, that leaves over 500,000 people still left in Gaza's biggest urban hub. What can we expect from this, and why are the people of Gaza City staying put amidst these evacuation warnings?
Thank you for having me. What we can expect is another massacres after massacres done by the Israeli colonial regime that is targeting civilians, targeting neighborhood, obliterating entire city, demolishing entire residential blocks in a grave violation to our moral compass, to the international law, to every code that humanity has invented in our modern history to prevent the suffering of civilians and women and children. Israel does not abide to these codes. They are destroying Gaza. It is an annihilation war. This is not annihilation, destruction, extermination campaign. This is not a war. They are whipping out entire residential blocks, forcefully displacing civilians who lack food, who lack any money to transport their things. They lack any humanitarian aid, and without any international body to help the refugees to transfer them from place to place. People are unable to pay for the cost to transport their belongings from the north to the south. Also pointing out that this is maybe some families has been displaced for the 10th or the 20th time, some even 30 times during this extermination campaign that Israel began in 2023. 2 years and the Palestinian people are suffering while the world remains impotent and while the United Nations is incapable of stopping this massacre, this genocide. And it is time that we call it as a genocide, nothing else, when the international committee by the UN, independent international committee by the UN that investigated and issued a 72 pages report about the genocide in Gaza, saying that this is a genocide. And when the association, International Association for Genocide Scholars and Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and even Israeli human rights organization B'Tselem says this is a genocide, then we have to call it what it is. It is a genocide that demands immediate intervention.
Ahmed, during this offensive, Israel have dropped these leaflets asking people to evacuate down south to al-Mawasi. There's critics saying that this area that Israel has directed the people of Gaza to go to isn't a humanitarian area at all. What more can you tell us about the area that the IDF has told the residents of Gaza City to head to?
The area, first of all, is overcrowded. It cannot fit all the population of Gaza City to go there. There is lack of medicine, lack of food. There's no hospitals there. There's no any aid support by any independent body or any international organization. So people has to rely on themselves to survive. The cities also have been targeted many times. You have witnessed that. We all have witnessed that. So it is not a safe zone at all. This is, a lie by the Israeli occupation. And even though that people are being displaced and transferring from location to location, they are still being targeted. They are transferring under fire, under the bombardment. They are not transferring into, a temporarily cessation of fire. They are transferring under the guns, under the quadcopters that's shooting bullets at civilians, under the mass extensive bombardment in Gaza and the north and the south. And here I need to point out, before Israel said Rafah is the stronghold for Hamas, and they completely obliterated it, which is a city in the south of the Gaza Strip. Then they said Jabalia is a center for Hamas, and they obliterated the entire city, which is in the north of the Gaza Strip. Now they go to the middle. It is the Gaza City, middle north, and transferring people to the south next to Rafah. So people have left no places to survive. It's all targeted. It's all under fire, and there is no any kind of pressure on Israel to stop this criminality. I'm speechless in front of this impotency by the world government and the international community when people and children are suffering without doing anything. And United States is using the veto for the sixth time to perpetuate this genocide, to maintain this genocide. It's telling a huge red flag to the world that we are shifting in the world that does not respect human rights, that does not respect international law, that does not respect,
yes.
Equality between citizens, that look at the Israelis as more valuable than the Palestinians. This racism, this supremacism, and this authoritarianism and fascism need to be faced by the international community. Today is the Palestinians, tomorrow it could be anyone. We have to, listen to our hearts and stop this genocide and massacres.